All right, welcome to the Relationship Comeback Podcast. This is your host, Carter Anderson, and this is episode 12. And I tell y'all this every episode. It's just getting bigger and better. Every episode, it's just getting better. And today we have the Oveson brothers on here. We have Rich and Riley. Rich and Riley, say what's up to the millions of fans across the Relationship Comeback Nation.
What up? Number one
We're
podcast.
the number one podcast soon, probably in 2028, but one day it will be the number one podcast. So I appreciate y'all coming on today. It's kind of like a small world scenario here where Riley and I went to EFY together probably like 10 plus years ago. Both of us looked super goofy, super weird. We had no idea what's going on, but you're just like 14 or 15 years old and you're just, hanging out and you just come to love that group of people, and we just added each other on Instagram and we've just stayed in touch for through social media, following each other. And I was like thinking about this idea for a podcast episode about how guys can level up and kind of have a glow up, and I immediately thought of Riley because he's somebody that I admire in his ability to be dedicated to his ability to become his best self, especially in how he presents himself physically, mentally, emotionally, all those type of things. And I'm very impressed by him. And so I don't know if y'all want to give a little bit of an introduction, but kind of one of the reasons that, and again, we'll tag their Instagram so y'all can go check, but these guys are shredded. And they are, and Riley, I don't know if Rich is as well, but Riley is also a model. And so, like, these guys, they know what they're talking about when it comes to glow up. So, kind of give us an introduction into your guys's maybe why, when you started taking health and fitness and modeling kind of seriously, and then kind of what's motivated you guys to keep going and not just like have it be a phase.
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, just like the way we were raised, looks was always super important in our family. So I feel like we were kind of like grandfathered into it. I know a lot of guys don't have that though, but like our mom growing up was like always talking about how to like present yourself and to look good, and she would also like help us like she would always like wax our eyebrows and like that sort of thing.
Your mom
And
would
there's
do
just
that?
like
Hygiene's
yeah,
super important to our family.
yeah, yeah.
It's like I take like 3 showers a day. Like,
I don't take 3 showers. I usually just do one, but
Okay.
I definitely am like spending hours and hours every day, like grooming myself, going to the gym. Like honestly, like I, my opinion is that anyone can be good looking, but like no one really puts in the work to do it. But there's tons of things you can do. Like there's always something you can do to improve your looks and improve your confidence. And yeah, that sort of thing.
What
yeah,
about
my
you,
I
Rich?
mean, obviously we come from the same house. My background's a little bit different. I think Riley's always like you should have seen Riley in high school, I guess. He had like the hugest glow up. Like
Oh yeah, that's insane.
he went on like Accutane, like, and then he when he finished Accutane, it was like, holy crap, this kid is like so good looking. Like he was always had a 6 pack, like it was the craziest thing ever. I grew up kind of chubby, to be honest, and I would like go through phase of like being in shape, being out of shape. I went on a mission that obviously got me in pretty bad shape. I was like when I came to like my junior year of high school, I like kind of grew into myself and was in pretty decent shape. Went on a mission, got way out of shape, started playing lacrosse down at UVU. That leaned me out quite a bit, and then I started doing sales. My kind of my main priority was just like making money, so I just kind of let myself go in that way. Which we'll get to that later, but I think those two kind of go hand in hand, like being in good shape and making a lot of money. I think those are like kind of go hand in hand. But even dude, if you look at pictures of me a year ago, and I don't know if you can pop up a picture, like I can send you one later, but dude, literally last year I was like pretty overweight, and I just kind of like came to this realization. I'm like, dude, I was like chasing this like dream of like just being huge and massive. Like I was still lifting, but like I was just like so overweight, and like my face was just chubby, and it just wasn't a good look. So I just made the decision. I'm like, dude, like being lean is just way better. And so I did a few different things. I lost 20 pounds naturally, and then I actually ended up hopping on peptides, and I lost like another 25 pounds. I lost 40 pounds total, or 45 pounds total over the last year. Um, and I've been able to maintain that, like, obviously through diet and everything else. But dude, yeah, like it's a freaking grind.
Yeah, no, and I think at least for me, obviously, like people listening, there's probably only going to be a select few that can dedicate this amount of time to their look. You know, like even for me, like I wake up and it's like 5 minutes in the morning, mess up my hair, whatever, shave, go to work, shower. Like I'm not as invested in it, but I think there's a lot of guys that it's just like, all right, what can we do to just better ourselves in all aspects? Because again, I don't know about y'all, but like there is a certain level, like at least for me, before I, I wouldn't even say I've had a glow up, but before I started taking my looks seriously and like exercising seriously, like there's just some girls like I'm not getting a chance with. There's just some girls because I'm not, at a certain level. And so obviously it's not the whole picture, but I was like, until I started taking care of myself physically, until I started working out, until I started taking my school and my career seriously, there's just some people I wasn't going to be able to connect with. And that's fine for some people, but I don't know about y'all, but like I'm trying to attract, top 1%. I'm really trying to find somebody I connect with that brings a lot of value into my life, but that also means I need to do the same. And we mentioned this before, but like I've hopped on a couple of my, friends that are girls on their hinges or their mutual apps, and I'm just like floored at like what some of these guys are putting out, whether it's effort, whether it's the pictures they're taking, whether it's their prompts, whether it's just like how they're taking care of themselves. It's just like it's to me, it's kind of sad. I'm like, man, I just don't think a lot of guys have the tools to know how to do this. And so I'm super grateful for you guys coming on and being able to share some of this with us because again, is looks and money the whole thing? Absolutely not. But as I try and better myself in all areas of my life, it's going to impact those opportunities that you're getting. And so I appreciate you guys coming on. So let's start off here with physical, whether it's working out, whether it's style, whether it's, health, just anything like that. What are your guys' tips for a guy if, maybe he's just kind of stuck in a rut, kind of like what Rich was describing of, maybe I'm not in a good spot and I want to kind of reset, or maybe you're like Riley, where you're maybe a little bit skinnier and you're like, hey, I'm ready to take this thing seriously. What would you guys, what advice would you give to a guy kind of starting off, getting into this? Like, I want to take my physical appearance, health, all that seriously. Where would you guys start?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say first is just fix the things you can fix. There's a lot of things that you can't fix at all. And that's totally fine. But there's a lot of things where I'm like, dude, you could totally fix that and fix it pretty easily. And you're just not, like for example, like your hair, like get a good haircut. You can lose weight. You can definitely, like, I see a lot of people that like never had braces and their teeth are super messed up. Like fix your teeth, fix your hair, fix your weight, start working out. And that will improve you so much more than like all these. I see a lot of like people saying like these little hacks on like TikTok and stuff like that, like looks maxing hacks. Honestly, just fix that stuff first, and then beyond that, I also think that there's a lot of guys that can improve from peptides. I mean, that's been kind of a trend on TikTok where
What are I've never even heard of those. I don't even know what that is.
so Richard's more of an expert on peptides, so I'll let him like kind of explain it more. But basically like the people are on there, they kind of don't have strong jaws or anything like that, and they go on these peptides and it improves their looks a ton. But yeah, I'll just kind of pass it over to Richard. Yeah. He's kind of more of an expert on those.
I mean, I think kind of the main thing, like as far as improving yourself, like nothing's going to be easy, right? You just have to make the hard choice in life if you want to, live a good life, and that's kind of a realization that I came to. As far as like time put in, like I think kind of the main thing is just to like make time for it. You know what I mean? Like Riley's a little bit different than me. He spends a lot more time in the gym than I do. I'm literally like I get up at 6:30 every morning. I'm at the gym by 7. I literally only spend like 45 minutes to an hour in the gym, and like I work a lot of hours. So it's not always easy, but you just kind of have to make the hard choice. But yeah, back to what Riley said with like the hair, the teeth, the weight thing.
Yeah.
Like those are super important. I'm not saying they're necessarily easy fixes, but like if you want to level up your looks, like that's just like the reality of it. Like I have one of my best friends actually. He started losing his hair pretty early. Within the past couple of years, I've literally seen him get new teeth. I seen him go to Turkey and get hair transplants,
That's wow.
and he lost a bunch of weight. and he has like a wife and a baby and like a full-time job. And I'm like, dude, you should see his before and afters. Like it's crazy. And it's like, it's not even that he's like trying to like, go out and date new women. Like he's just trying to like look good for his wife at home, which I think is like super important as well. But yeah, dude, it's like, but just like I've just literally seen him fix those few things, and I'm like, dude, you like literally said to him last week, I'm like, dude, you look great. Like you, it's like
He does, yeah.
compared to like what he looked like before, it's like it's so easy to like let yourself go. But I guess going back to like the dating perspective, like you at the end of the day, like you attract what you are. So I think that something that everyone should do after watching this is like go home, write down what you want in like a partner, and like whether like it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, like write down what you want, and then ask yourself like the hard question of, am I the type of person that this person that I want would want to date, and then like start working on those things. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think a lot of guys, they probably realize they're like, oh shoot, like I'm not. And that's why I want to do this podcast. That's why I want to do these type of episodes. Again, maybe some people might see that it's so surface level. And again, whatever, I don't care what other people think. But like there's some guy they just genuinely they don't know. And I think that sometimes that's really hard to be like, all right, how do I fix my hair? Like you said, go to a barber. Or how do I fix my teeth? It's like go get the freaking Crest whitening strips from, Walmart or whatever and start using those. And there's just little things that you can do to improve. I'd be curious, either one of you or both of you can answer this. Because again, nobody's ever going to be perfect. Like I'm sure even you guys, as jacked as you are, I'm sure you look in the mirror and you're like, man, I wish this ab popped out a little bit more. Or I wish this or that, whatever. Like
That's so
there,
true.
I would be curious, like, how is the pursuit of trying to become your best self increase your confidence? Because for me, that's what it is. Like, clearly, I look in the mirror, I'm like, there's 45 things I would fix. But as I'm pursuing becoming my best self, exercising, career, all that stuff, it does change. Like, I am doing something to become better. So that changed my confidence. I'd be curious what your guys' thoughts are as you're trying to become better. How does that impact your confidence about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can really talk a lot on this. I mean, I've been told I have too much confidence sometimes, but I think it's just important to focus on the good instead of the bad because it's easy to find flaws. But if you kind of look at yourself overall and you're like, okay, like I am like in school, I am working full-time job, like these are great things, then you can like love yourself today where you are and still want to improve. And then I just wanted to say something about like what Richard was talking about is like, dude, honestly, it's not easy. Like when I went on Accutane, that was probably one of the hardest times in my life. Like I was sleeping like probably 12, 13 hours a day because I was on it. Like my skin was like pink. Someone at school had made like this Twitter account that was like making fun of people and they like put me next to a naked mole rat. Like it's
Remember
not
Kim
easy.
Possible? Remember the
Yeah,
naked
the
mole
whole
rat?
naked mole rat. Like they were comparing me to that, and it was just like
It's like
super
two
hard
lookalikes.
on my like self confidence. And like I had braces, I just like wasn't a good looking person, and it was super hard, but it was worth it because once I got my braces off, my skin was clear. Like I got my hair right. Like it was so worth it. But it's not, it's never easy to make that decision to, okay, for like a year, I'm gonna have to, not be a good looking guy. And, after it's going to be so worth it though.
But dude, yeah, I think it comes down to like choosing your heart, right? I mean, I think I'm sure you've heard that thing about choosing your heart. Like if you make the hard choice to like improve your life, that's the uphill path, right? That's gonna be that's the hard choice. But like on the flip side, if you choose the easy path, like I'm gonna just eat freaking fast food and be lazy, it's like then like down the road your life's gonna suck. So it's like you choose the hard path and your life ends up being easier. You choose the easy path, your life ends up being harder.
Yeah. And this is definitely the better path. Like having, you know, experienced a little bit of both paths where I've been like lazy, not doing anything. I just get super depressed and, making the hard choice, getting up early and all that other stuff. I'm like, okay, I got everything accomplished done. Like now I get to relax at night and feel accomplished. And it's really, you have the same amount of time. It's just what you decide to use it on.
Right. And I think it's an investment in yourself. For me, like my biggest, I know when I go and I work out or I go and I play basketball, it's not going to make that big of a difference in my looks or whatever that day. But I know that I'm working out for 6 months from now. when I can finally see, a vein on my bicep, or I can finally, see some of the abs coming through, whatever. And you're like, I'm doing this workout for 6 months from now, Carter. And maybe not right now. Obviously, it can get out emotions and stuff there in that moment, but I'm meaning like physically. So it is an investment. Say, do I have the commitment right now to work out so that I can see these benefits in 6 months? Or, whiten your teeth takes like 3 weeks or whatever, or clearing your skin, or, figuring out a haircut that works for you. It's not something that comes right away. It's something that kind of takes refinement and things like that. And so it's an investment. Am I willing to invest in myself so that I can attract the type of people that, I want in my own life? Because again, like some girl that takes her looks very seriously, again, hopefully that's not everything she's into, but she's going to expect kind of the same thing from you. And I think a lot of guys don't realize that, like, hey, this super attractive, Instagram model isn't going to want a guy that only brushes his teeth once a day, or doesn't know how to trim his facial hair, or doesn't have a cool hair. Like there's just little things that you can do that might just be missing opportunities that you could have if you just put in a little bit of effort. Any final thoughts or anything you guys have on kind of physical health, anything like that? They're like, guys need to start doing this or taking it more seriously.
Yeah, I would say definitely something I didn't mention before that could definitely improve for a lot of guys is just like fix your hormones. Like hormones play such a big role in both like your energy level and how you look. And a lot of guys just like are born and they're just not lucky. They just don't have good hormones. And so like go to a doctor and see if you can like boost your testosterone. That'll help you have way more energy and like a sharper jawline, that sort of thing. Like if you need help from a doctor, there's literally no shame in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've all been to doctors, we've all had issues. Like there's no shame in that. So
I'll be
do
the
it.
first to say,
Yeah.
dude, I take all the supplements, bro. About 2 years ago, I went to get my blood work done and my testosterone. It wasn't super low, but it was like low-ish. So I ended up hopping on a drug called enclomiphene. It just boosts your testosterone naturally, and that made like a huge difference in like my overall physical appearance. And now I take all sorts of peptides, which I'm not sure how familiar you are with peptides, but they're basically just like they're amino acids that your body produces naturally. So like there's stuff for like fat loss, or hormone optimization, muscle growth, growth hormone stuff, injury healing. That you can there's like peptides for your skin, which is sick. Like I take a peptide that makes me tan. I just got Riley started on it.
Yeah,
like,
we started
You're like, I
it's
don't
yesterday.
such
have
a
to go
small.
outside for an hour a day.
What?
Oh, you're like, I don't have to go outside for an hour a day. I can just
Yeah.
take this supplement.
No, literally, bro. I freaking walked around tan, like super tan all winter, and everyone's like, "Dude, are you like hitting the beds? Like, what's going on?" I'm like, "No, dude. I just inject myself with this tanning stuff." It's like, I don't know, dude, but I don't know. Like, the main thing is just like falling in love with the process. Like,
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
you make the hard choice so that your life's easier down the road. And devil's advocate to what you said before too, like the Instagram model thing. It's like me playing devil's advocate. I'm like, do you really want that chick? Like,
Right. Well, I meant like
is
if
she
that's
gonna
all
be a
she
good
cares about.
is she gonna be a good wife and mother?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I guess you if that's what you want, great. But like, I mean, I know some dudes that are like dating these Instagram model chicks, and I'm like,
They're not happy.
they're not happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You want to find a girl, honestly, in my opinion, that like has a very, I don't know. A lot of these girls
mindset.
who are Instagram famous have very high egos, which is not super attractive to me. I've dated girls like that and had really terrible experiences. So if that's like your goal, honestly, I'd look inside yourself and think, is this really what I want? Because now that I've dated those types of girls, I'd rather find a girl with no social life, or not no social life, no social media presence,
Yeah.
or like very low social media presence, who I'm still very attracted to and who's like a hard worker. Like, honestly, just someone who's like going to be a quality partner more than anything. And then kind of reiterating what Richard said with the supplements, I mean, peptides are all great, and good too, but a lot of our food is like very nutrient depleted. So like take supplements. Like I remember when I was 16, I went to the doctor and they told me that I was vitamin D deficient. And I started taking vitamin D pills. I take 2 of them a day, and it improved me so much that like I notice when I don't take them now. And now I'm taking like 10 to 15 supplements a day. And these are just like stuff you should be getting in your food, but you're not. So you kind of need to, give yourself a little bit of a boost, by taking these pills.
I was actually it's funny this comes up again because I was just talking to my therapist this week and she's like I want you to go get your blood work done because she said like I work out hard for an hour a day. I go and I play basketball twice a week. I'm very intentional about what I eat and protein, like all that stuff. And she's like, you can grind as hard as you want, but if your hormone levels are not where they need to be, it's just kind of like you swimming upstream where you'll be able to see, improvement. But she's like, if potentially your testosterone levels are not where they need to be, she's like, you're not going to be able to grow, as much muscle, whatever it might be. And so it's interesting that this comes up again because my guess is a lot of guys are out there, they're trying to improve, they're trying to do all these things and they might be doing everything right and their hormones might just be out of balance. And so like I love that advice of saying like if you feel like, hey, I'm doing this stuff to try and improve, to go and try and get a doctor to get your blood work done and say, hey, what can I do to become healthier so that, because my therapist, she's like, I only work out 3 to 4 times a week. And she says, I promise you I got a six pack. And she says, because her hormones are so like in line that it was like, I was like, all right, well, that sounds cool to me. So maybe we kind of move to this next point of, and I think this probably centers more around using the dating apps and maybe, Instagram and things like that. But how do you guys see that guys can start to present themselves in a more, almost like attractive manner? Because again, a lot of these dating app profiles or Instagram profiles, it's like pictures from 2017, and you're like, dude, you're not gonna get any chick, or all their dating app profiles is holding a fish, or they're flexing when they're working out, and there's no real anyway. You can just tell like this guy's
Yeah.
getting cooked in the algorithm, and so I would just be curious will be some tips or what do you guys observe that's like, guys, we need to stop doing this or we need to start doing this to try and be able to present ourselves. I know it sounds a little superficial, but if you can learn how to present yourself in a way that's attractive to girls, you're going to be able to get opportunities that you're probably frustrated that you're not getting. So where would you guys start with that? Whether it's dating apps, whether it's Instagram, whatever you want to say, where do you think guys need to start or what do we need to stop doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take this one because I am still kind of in the dating world. I've been single for like about a year and a half now. I'd say honestly, be grooming yourself. Like take care of yourself and then just like take a lot of pictures. Like I'm out with my friends and I'm like, yo, will you like snag a pic with me? And then I'm just like posting it and like putting that on my dating profile. That way I have updated pics. If you take enough pictures, there's going to be a picture that you like that you look good in. And that's going to be the picture you're going to want to use for your dating profile. And then I just say like be interesting. Like no girl wants to be told hi. Like they get probably 100 hey messages a day. So like say something interesting, like find something on their profile that's, you can talk about, have a conversation with, whether it's like where they're from, if it says they're like from a different country or that sort of thing. Mention that and just be like, how was it growing up there? And just have a conversation with them. Don't be boring. Yeah.
There's really someone for everyone. I would say that like the biggest thing is just be yourself. I'm really big on authenticity. Like if you're truly yourself, you're going to find someone that vibes with that.
Absolutely. And like, well, like kind of into the point though is like I've dated girls who like my competition was making like $1 million a year. And, I beat out that other guy for this girl because I was in the modeling world. I was making way less money than him, but it was cool to her that I was a model. Whereas he was doing, door to door. And she just thought that would seem like way more an adventure. I read that in a book where like every girl wants to go on an adventure. That's like the main thing is like be interesting, be, spontaneous. Like if I'm in a city, like for example, I was in upstate New York and there was like an abandoned school and I'm just like, you guys, let's break into the abandoned school. Like that seems like an adventure. Like,
Now you're
like
just
do
committing, now
interesting
you're
shit
just
with your life.
confessing to
And it's,
crimes on a podcast.
yeah. I mean, it's super like attractive to girls though, is like when you're like an interesting guy that's like willing to do anything, willing to take the risk, not willing to get in trouble sometimes. I think that's super attractive. And like Richard can, attest for that, where like we were at freaking Stadium of Fire the other day and the security guy told him, he's like, do not throw that paper airplane. And Richard looks straight at him and just throws it, and just like
Yeah.
nothing happens. Like there's
Which
really not
a lot of girls like don't like that type of stuff too, where they're like, oh, like you're like rebellious or whatever, like you don't follow the rules. But like I know that my girlfriend loves me for me, and
Yeah.
like she like really appreciates that about me, that I'm just like super like true and authentic to myself.
I think one thing that you mentioned is like, there's different ways for guys to do this, but you said like it's about being authentic. And like again, like I'm never gonna be the guy that's gonna, go and take, crazy thirst traps and whatever. Like, there's some guys that works for, but for me it's not. But how can I present myself authentically? And I think that's something like I don't know, and again, I don't know if you have any tips on how to do this. Like for me, anytime I take pictures, I just look stupid. Like my smile looks dumb or whatever. Do you have any tips for how guys can be more comfortable taking pictures? Because like I always tell my sister or my friends that are girls, like someone says, "Hey, let's take a picture," and all of a sudden they just snap on and they just got like this incredible smile. I'm just like, is this just like a natural talent that girls have that guys, we smile and it's like, dude, what is going on? Like how do you become more comfortable? How do you become more natural and authentic when someone's taking a picture? Because again, like you can be the coolest guy in the world, yeah, goofy smile, whatever, that might be tough. So I would just be curious, any tips to be more comfortable or confident in front of a camera. So again, you can present who you authentically are, but in a way that, hopefully looks a little bit more normal than just a regular picture you're taking in your bathroom.
Just freaking rock it, bro. Rock the
Yeah.
goofy smile.
Honestly.
Honestly, dude.
Yeah, that's what I would say too, is like being photogenic, having modeled is 100% about confidence. Because when I first started, I remember looking at my first shoots and I'm like, I can just tell that I'm like, shoulders are rolled forward. I'm just like in a protective, like looking pose. Or if like, once I got more comfortable with it, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna puff my chest out. I'm gonna like have my shoulders back. I'm gonna smile and I'm gonna be confident. So definitely practice, I'd say, and definitely just own it, like own who you are for sure. Um, and then another thing I'd say is like, I just have a few like tips and tricks. Like when I model, I drink a ton of caffeine right before. For some reason, that just boosts my confidence enough where I'm just like, I just know I got it. Like I know I've done this before. I've practiced this. Like I know what I'm doing. So like, why would I fear this?
That's cool. One thing that I've done when I've gone and taken pictures is I'll just like do a crap ton of sugar right before so that my veins are popping out real nice or
Yeah,
whatever, and trying to get a pump before. Again, just something little you can do to try
absolutely.
and make that a little bit better. So I think those tips are sweet. Let's dive into this kind of last point of potentially glow up. I think a lot of guys like you know I think if you genuinely get to know somebody, like you realize, oh, this person's cool, or they have this something that's unique about them, and you like genuinely could be like, yeah, that's really cool. I just think some guys they just don't even get the chance to talk to girls to be able to get to know them or have the girls get to know them in that way. So I love to get some advice or your guys' thoughts on like how can guys improve their confidence about talking to girls? What are some do's? What are some don'ts? Just because I think again, we're behind our phones so frequently that all of a sudden a girl's in front of us or we're on a date and we're just like, I don't even know what to say. And you ask a dumb question or whatever, and which is fine. But like, I think there's just little things we could do to improve our confidence. So where would you guys lead us in that of what can guys do to start to, become more confident or more even just competent when it comes to talking to girls?
I have something. I think that like when you level yourself up to a certain point, and you realize that you like are who you want to be, you'll have this like quiet confidence about yourself. And when you're dating, it will be less about I really hope this person likes me and like them qualifying you, and more of like I hope that like I like this person. And when you go into dating with that mindset, like the game totally changes, because you're not looking for like you're not looking to like impress that person. You're looking for that person to impress you. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like that like mindset shift right there, like can change everything. And like as far as like the phones thing, it's like, dude, you have freaking like phones are sick, dude. Like you have access to freaking thousands of chicks on your phone. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm really big on like when I was dating, really big on like first date. Well, I guess before the first date, like quick DM, hey, what's up? Like within like 3 messages, I'm like, hey, do you want to hang out? Like let's get out of the DMs, maybe like a FaceTime or whatever. But like first date, really short, typically. Like, hey, let's grab a swig, freaking 30 minutes, and then I'm taking you home because you're like trying to qualify that person. I see a lot of guys making the mistake of like one of
Trying to
my
qualify themselves.
yes, trying to qualify themselves, but like on the first date, going a little bit like a step further than that. Like I talked to what like this guy like last week, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm going on this date with this chick tonight. Like we met on Tinder or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, what do you guys do?" And he's like, "First we're doing this, then we're doing this, then we're doing this, then we're doing this." And I'm like,
Like a
"Bro,
whole itinerary.
it's
Yeah.
like 7 hours long." I'm like, "Bro, go get coffee and freaking take her home, bro. See
Yeah.
if you like her first before you invest all this time, all of your valuable time, because then it goes back to like." I'm qualifying you. I'm seeing if you're a good candidate to date me.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think that's great to do a super short first date. I honestly don't even do first dates until I've met the person. I'd say, hey, let's hang out. Let's do something chill for like maybe an hour, and then
But that's
let's
a date,
go home.
though.
Yeah, I
That's a
mean,
date.
I'm not really ever really spending more than $10 though on the first hangout.
Never.
Yeah. Because first of all, that's a lot of pressure for these girls. I've talked to a lot of friends that are girls, and they're like, "Yeah, when he's taking me to a $200 freaking dinner, like that's a lot of stress for me." I'm thinking, what do I have to give him in return for this $200 dinner? And that scares them. So definitely, like I'd say, be super chill on the first date, and then second, I'd say just like in terms of confidence, like you just have to practice, like every single person on this planet puts their pants on one leg at a time. Like we're all so nervous to go talk to girls, and like I'd say probably more than half the time you're gonna have a bad response. No matter who you are, no matter if you're like a millionaire who's super good looking, you're gonna have a bad response. So it's just like count your wins, not your losses. You never know what's going to happen. And like you've been training your entire life to have conversations with people. So don't worry about what you're going to say. Just worry about going up to them. Go up to them and say, hey, like, I like your shoes. And then they say, oh, thank you. And then you're just like, oh, yeah, like, where are you from? You just like start the conversation. And then once it's flowing, great. If it doesn't flow, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Right. And I
That makes
think
sense.
I think it's so hard for guys to bet on themselves in that sense of like, hey, like it's okay if this doesn't work out. Because if we're being honest, most guys they go on these apps, they get a match a week. They're maybe going on a date every couple of, months or whatever, and they're just not having that many opportunities. And so you feel really stressed out when something doesn't happen. And so I think it's important for guys to try and present themselves in the best way possible so they can get as many opportunities so you can feel more confident like, hey, if this doesn't work out, it's okay because I know I will get more opportunities. I think some guys just don't believe that. Rich had mentioned prior, he says, I think there's kind of a fourth thing that he wanted to add, and that's just kind of becoming your best self in every area, whether that's financially, mentally, emotionally. Rich, you want to kind of dive into that? Your thoughts on kind of taking these three things, but then adding another one of like, hey, we also need to make sure that we're becoming providers or being able to, present ourselves in that way. What would you say?
I sat down with myself one day and I like wrote down what I wanted my life to look like. And what it came down to was like I want to have a great physique. That's something that's super important to me. Like you have to figure out what's important to you. I want to have a great physique. I want to have a great marriage. I want to have kids. I want to be financially stable for my family. Good like standing in like their church or whatever. I don't know how religious your listeners are, but like those are the things that are important to me. So like at this point in my life, if I'm doing something and it's not pushing me forward towards those goals, like if it's not aligning with my goals, like I straight up just don't do it. But if as you start to work on those things, then like you start to look for different things, whether it's like entertainment, your relationships, whatever it is. So it's like you're going to start to seek that, and you're also going to start to attract that. And when you're working on those things, like, dude, girls can tell, bro. Like, girls can tell when you're leveling up. Like at the end of the day, it's like if you're leveling up to a certain point, like they're gonna come to you. The game changes.
Yeah, I'd also like second that where it's like if you're focusing on chasing all these girls, like if you chase something, it's gonna run away. But like if you're attracting, they're gonna come to you. So honestly, just like work
Like
on
cats, bro.
yourself. Yeah,
Like
work
cats.
I think of it more as like fishing. It's like if you're chasing a fish,
Yeah.
you friggin' like swim away. But if you friggin' throw your lure in and then you catch
Just
it,
shiny, just shiny little thing.
yeah. But I think it's just like, yeah, work on yourself. Go to the gym, like talk to girls, like get your confidence up, and then it's gonna be easy. Like there'll be a girl that comes along. You're like, I really think this girl is great. And then you just start dating her.
At least for me, kind of what I've tried to do is break up my life into, all right, what can I do to be improving spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and then even like as a provider or career and things like that. And again, everybody's going to be different in what they're pursuing, but I think like you guys have mentioned a few times, it's like, well, it's doing it your best self, doing it in the way that's best for you. Like if you are a plumber, you're like, I'm going to be the best plumber in the world and I'm going to be authentic to myself. Or if I'm going to be a sales bro, or if I'm going to be a teacher, whatever it might be, say, I'm going to do this at the highest level. Because again, you can always be leveling up in different areas of your life. And so saying, I'm going to continue to improve, and people can see that, hey, this person's investing in themselves. They're investing in becoming their best self. I want to be a part of that. One of the things that's just rang so true to me is kind of like a dagger to my heart. It's like, if you don't even enjoy your own life, why would somebody else want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
And in trying to say, all right, well, what can I do to make sure that I'm building a life that I enjoy, that somebody else would want to be a part of? And I think the moment you start pursuing that, saying, how can I try? Again, we're never going to be at the end goal. How can I try and build a life that somebody else would want to be a part of? I think that's very attractive.
If you're gonna improve yourself, I feel like a lot of people think it's all or nothing. They're
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna start going to the gym every day at 7 in the morning. And that's just not sustainable. Like, let's start with going to the gym once a week for like maybe an hour, and like just
Micro habit.
yeah, get yourself there first. And then start being more consistent. After a couple months, be like, okay, now I'm gonna go twice a week, and then you kind of just work your way into it, and that way you're not like dealing with burnout, or like, I'm gonna make a little bit more money. I'm gonna try one more thing. I'm gonna talk to one girl this month. And then next month I'm going to talk to two girls. It's just like starting is way more important than just being like, okay, tomorrow I'm starting. Like, I'm going to get up at 7 a.m., go to the gym for 3 hours. Like, that's just not sustainable in my opinion.
Yeah.
Micro habits are huge. Atomic
Yeah,
Habits.
absolutely.
That book.
That's a great book.
You read Atomic Habits,
Yeah.
Carter?
No, I mean, I've skimmed through. I've never read it, but
Banger, bro.
I
You need
kind
to
of
read
get
that.
that.
You need to
one,
start
yeah.
that one, bro.
Yeah.
I know
Okay,
you're
I'll
busy with school
put
and
it on
stuff.
my audiobook list.
Oh, audiobook for dude. You think I'm reading, bro? Do I look like I read books? You know, I got freaking AirPods in the gym, listening to books.
I'm a physical book person, honestly.
There you go.
But
I like buying the book and then I can look at it, but I gotta listen to it. I'm not gonna be able to.
yeah.
My ADHD is way too bad to
Yeah.
sit down and freaking read, bro.
Yeah, we got a highlighter out. I'm like, I can't do that. So I would be curious, just kind of in wrapping things up. Maybe two things. How do we do this pursuit of self-improvement and becoming your best self? Number one, kind of in a healthy way, but then maybe also the realities of this, like maybe some of the struggles that you guys face as you do this. Because again, for me, like I look at Riley's Instagram posts and he's just, shredded, and I'm just like, man, that's so sick. Like one day when I'm 45, maybe that will be me, and I think sometimes it's like, man, he's got it all. And I think sometimes, maybe that is the case, but I'm sure there are struggles with that. So maybe two things. What would you guys say we could do to make this pursuit of becoming your best self healthier? And then maybe what are some of the realistic like struggles that come along with that?
I mean, nothing's gonna be easy, right? I think it goes back to like figuring out what you actually want in life, like your why.
Mhm.
Like, why do I want to be in shape? Why do I want to make more money? Like, if your goal is very clear, then it's going to be a lot easier to stick to it. Like, if you know why you're doing it. If you're just going through the motions, like with no end in sight, then it's probably going to be a lot harder. But if you have a clear goal and like a clear end in sight, like one, it's going to be easier to do. But on top of that, like it's not always easy. Like, you think I always feel like getting up and going to the gym? Like, dude, at least half the time I don't feel like going.
Right.
It comes down to like the discipline over the motivation thing. It's like I'm more disciplined than I'm disciplined more often than I'm motivated.
Mhm.
Like 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be motivated. You just have to have the discipline.
Yeah. I definitely reiterate that, like, have goals, have that other sort of thing. But I'd also say like fall in love with the journey, like becoming a better version of yourself, becoming more attractive. It's not a like an end goal. Like once you reach it, it takes a ton of work to maintain. I mean, I'm in
Less
the
work,
gym.
less
Yeah,
work
it
for
takes a
getting
lot
there.
less
Yeah.
work once you reach your goals, but it's like I still have to groom myself every day. Like I still have to, be taking pictures. I still have to go to work every day. Like I still have to go to the gym. Like there's all these things. And I just love the journey. Like I love improving and I've kind of fallen in love with that aspect where I'm like, I'm excited to go to the gym today. Like I'm ready, this is good for me. And then I just say on top of that with the like self-confidence thing, like I'll say it again, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. Everybody's the same. Everyone feels self-doubt, like no matter who they are. So like, don't beat yourself up. Like, just be like, okay, I'm gonna love myself for who I am today. And when you love yourself for who you are today, it's way easier to self improve. If you're
Mhm.
like waking up in the morning, you're like, I suck. Like, that's just not the place you want to be. If you're gonna self improve, you want to say, I love myself, and because I love myself, I'm going to improve today.
Do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
I do not.
You know, you got it. That's a fault that you need to follow him for sure. I'll send you his Instagram.
Okay.
I think that he put it best when it comes to confidence. He said that confidence isn't shouting a bunch of affirmations to yourself in the mirror. It is like being who you say you are and like making and keeping commitments with yourself. It's
I
not
seen
exactly
that.
how he
I
said
seen
it,
that
but like,
quote though.
yeah, like if you make commitments with yourself and keep them, then like those are the types of things that are going to build your confidence. Like doing what you say you're going to do, keeping the promises with yourself. Those are the types of things that are like going to build your self confidence.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like if you're a guy and you're like, maybe I'm not where I want to be physique wise or career wise, but I'm showing myself, hey, I went to the gym 3 times this week, or I'm updating my resume so that I can get a different job. If you're doing those things, you're building evidence in your mind that I can be a confident person because I am I am who my actions say I am. And all of a sudden you're like, okay,
Exactly.
I can
Yeah.
be confident in that person even if I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I would ask one last thing. What would you say to a guy who's really struggling right now? He's just like, man, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way like a quick bro hype up. Like if he's listening right now and he's like, man, I'm really struggling right now. Guys, every once in a while I'll see that, reel come up on my Instagram or TikTok and it's just like these depressed guys and we're going through it, whatever. What would be your bro hype up to somebody that's listening that maybe is really struggling right now in a lot of these aspects that we've discussed today?
First thing I'd probably say is just like fake it till you make it. Um, every one of us experiences self doubt, and like no matter who you are, you have things going for you. Like every single person in this world has good things going for them. So like focus on those, and then the things you need to improve, like fake it till you make it. Like don't say I'm gonna start going to the gym. Say I'm the type of person that goes to the gym, and just like believe that, and just like I don't know. Like when I started doing modeling, I was like, oh, like I'm not a model. Like I've never done this, but I'm like, okay, but I can pretend to be a model. I
Hmm.
can pretend. And then eventually I was that. I just started getting jobs with these bigger companies and now I'm like, oh, I actually am this. Like I'm not faking it anymore. I'm in it, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, just trying to shift your identity to who you're trying to become and not maybe where you're at right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
My bro hype up would be like, dude, just like choose the hard path, lay out your goals, dude. Choose the hard path. Life as a man is hard. Like it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. But if you choose the hard path, like you'll end up in a situation where you want to be, and your life will improve quite a bit.
Right. I think we need to give credit to guys sometimes because being a guy isn't easy all the time. I'm sure the same could be said of a girl. I've never been one, so I
For
don't
sure.
know. But like it is tough sometimes, like there is a lot that's placed on our shoulders. You gotta try and be, in shape. You gotta try and provide for family. There's a lot stacked up against you, but there is something you can do about it. I think a lot of guys feel very hopeless. And again, I think somebody listening might be like, oh, this was a superficial to talk about looks or whatever. It's like, no, no, no. Like we're trying to build tools so the guys can feel more confident in themselves. We're trying to build men that are, going to be men so that they can try and provide for family, so they can be a great husband, so they can be a great father. And a lot of the times, like you guys have mentioned, it starts with little habits like taking care of yourself. And so I appreciate you guys coming on today and being willing to share some of those insights with us. Because again, sometimes guys are kind of dumb. That's one thing that comes with the territory. And so sometimes we just need a little nudge in a direction of how to continue to improve ourselves. So I appreciate you guys doing that. If anybody has any questions or anything, where should they reach out to you guys? Should it be Instagram, or where can we reach you guys at if somebody's like, hey, I want tips or questions about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say Instagram's probably the best place. I mean, I post like workouts on there all the time, like tips to be better looking, all that sort of thing is kind of my niche on my Instagram, as well as like I'm gonna start doing like being photogenic tips, like that sort of thing. So I definitely follow me on Instagram, and you can reach out to me. I'll message you back, or you can just follow along with the stuff I post.
Same thing, Rich. Just
Yeah,
hit you
dude.
up on
Instagram,
Instagram.
bro. At Richard Oveson on Instagram.
Yeah, mine's Riley_Oveson, first name, last name. So makes it super simple.
I will shout out Riley's ab workout is tough. Taken a few of the exercises and implemented it in my end of workout burnout, and it's tough. So
Yeah.
it's good stuff there. So thank you again for coming on. This has been episode 12 of the Relationship Comeback, where we're learning to become the one so we can attract the one. We'll see y'all next time.